back to my channel. So I want to talk about Jade and Chris from this season of Love During Lockup. So a little bit more about Chris. He has a lengthy criminal history. He's been arrested all the way from things from burglary, drug possession, driving while impaired, and he admits that a lot of the reason why he was doing all these crimes is because he was on drugs and he was trying to feed his meth habit. So right now, Chris is currently serving time in prison after back in 2014, a jury convicted him of 1 count of second-degree burglary and 4 counts of identity theft after he ended up breaking into this older couple's home and he ended up stealing a whole bunch of their credit cards. So he had a second trial for other crimes, which he ended up pleading guilty to 1 count of grand theft. So the court records revealed that Chris ended up stealing multiple items, drugs, and credit cards from the older married couple whose home he broke into. And the wife that he stole from, she had been diagnosed with leukemia, and Chris took some of her experimental cancer medication, all while this older couple was at home watching TV in their bedroom and they had no idea what was going on. So 1 week before he decided to break into this house, he also stole a vehicle from a man that he had just interviewed about a potential job. Then he turns around and steals the man's car. So due to Chris's past convictions and him already being in prison a gang of times before this happened, and the seriousness of this crime, the judge didn't hold back whatsoever and ended up sentencing him to 30 years. So it does say, though, that Chris is supposed to get out in June of 2025, but Jade is very adamant that he's supposed to get out next year in 2024. She said it on the show. She says it on her TikTok. So growing up, Chris had a lonely childhood. He was an only child, and his father was not in his life. So he was diagnosed with anxiety and borderline personality disorder. And Chris ended up getting involved with drugs at a young age and started getting in trouble and quickly ended up in juvenile detention as a teenager. So Chris has children of his own, and his ex-girlfriend that he has a daughter with, apparently she's caused a lot of drama in Chris and Jade's life. I was going back and looking at older TikToks of Jade's, and this one girl had commented, because Jade's whole TikTok personality is the fact she's dating an inmate. So someone commented one day and they're like, oh, I heard he's not a good guy. So Jade ended up responding to the comment in a video, and she said that the girl that was dragging Chris's name through the mud was Chris's ex-girlfriend, and apparently she's been trying to extort Chris and Chris's family since they broke up for years now. Like, apparently after they ended up breaking up, she ended up contacting Chris's mom and sent fake sonogram pictures, according to Jade, this is what she said, and sent fake sonogram pictures to Chris's mom, and she said, if you give me $10,000, I'll have an abortion. Apparently, they didn't send her the money. Jade said that Chris's ex-girlfriend is obsessed with her. Like, she even had TikTok videos where she had Jade's picture taped to her mirror, and she's been trying to ruin Jade and Chris's lives for years now because she's mad that they're together, and Jade claims that she's jealous because Jade has a TikTok following and Chris has something to do with it. So Jade even showed a video of Chris's ex where she's doing a TikTok, and she's like blonde. She looks like she's like close to Jade's age, like in her mid-30s. And she said, oh, I'm training my TikTok algorithm. And she's holding like her face to the side, where kind of like what Jade does in some of her TikToks. And she said she's training her TikTok algorithm to think that she's Jade. So she thinks, I didn't even know that was a thing, but I guess she wants her TikToks to start showing up in Jade's algorithm, and here she is trying to expose Jade and Chris and all her TikToks, and Jade just claims that she's trying to get clout off her, and Jade even said that Chris's father sent her text messages, and she shows these text messages in a separate TikTok where she's talking all sorts of crazy to her kids and cussing them out, and she says that she knows that Chris has money, so she's just been trying to extort Chris's family and will not leave them alone. So I wonder if we're going to see some of this baby mama ex-girlfriend drama in this season. I wouldn't doubt it. I also saw a comment on TikTok where someone had asked Jade if she works, and she says that she just sells like vintage clothing and items, and she helps Chris sell stuff that he makes from prison. But besides that, she doesn't work like a 9 to 5. She just does TikTok. And she said that Chris is the main breadwinner in the household, which that's pretty much obvious. And now I just want to talk about them in this first episode. So I'm not going to go like super into detail, but pretty much we see Chris and Jade, and now we know what he went to prison for. So I don't really need to give the introduction, but she's living in a nice house. She has a side by side, a trailer, a nice car, a nice house with a swimming pool, and this is all on Chris's dime. Chris is Native American, so he gets shares of a local casino, which usually averages to a little over $12,000 a month. And that goes all deposited into Jade's bank account every single month. And she just gets to spend it or do whatever she needs to do with it. So, in return for that, she's dating Chris. But Chris, all day long, he likes to call and talk to her and be on the phone with her. But, she's not working. He's paying for all the bills. So, I can understand. He just wants to talk to his girl. But the thing is, Jade, her sister, just turned 30. So Jade wants to have this birthday party for her sister. She invites over all these family and friends. They're having a good time. They have this little cardboard cutout with Chris. So our introduction to Chris really is him blowing up Jade's phone, and she's trying to hang out with her family and friends. So at first she doesn't answer the phone, and eventually she does answer, and Chris is like, well, what the hell are you doing? Why didn't you answer my last few phone calls? And she's like, look, I'm hanging out with family and friends. So he's like, well, are you drinking? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, maybe you shouldn't drink no more because if you can't answer the phone while you're drunk. And so they get in a little bit of argument. She's like, well, maybe you shouldn't call so much. And he's like, she said she wanted to get back to her family and friends. So he's like, okay, get back to your family and friends. When should I call you back? So she told him to call back in an hour, which I already knew. I was like, girl, why would you say an hour? Like, if you're trying to hang out with your family and friends, do that. But I would have just been like, dude, let me call back in like 3-4 hours after I leave here once everybody goes home. But that girl knew she was not about to be answering that damn phone call in an hour when she said that. You could tell she was questioning herself when she said an hour. So, of course, an hour on the clock, Chris calls up again, and Jay doesn't answer. So he's blowing her up back to back. Her family and friends are talking about how jealous he is and how they feel like Jade wouldn't even be with him if it wasn't for his money. So since Jade's not answering the phone, Chris starts blowing up her family and friends, so they automatically start getting all stressed out and having high anxiety, and they're feeling the pressure from Chris, and he's pretty much ruining the whole vibe of the party because now everybody's just focused on Chris blowing them up and pissing Chris off. So, I'm not going to lie. When I was seeing this, I was like, this looks like something production is probably doing. Kind of like Ty with her, like, phone blowing up when she goes on the date and it's all these inmates calling. Or when she went to have a date at the cemetery and her phone's blowing up. So, I wasn't sure. But then when they took Jade's mom to the side, they asked her mom. I can't remember exactly what they said. I think they're like, how do you feel about this relationship? Do you feel like he's jealous? And she admitted, yes, he's jealous, he's controlling, and she said that she was scared for Jade. And she was so scared and got so emotional just talking about that she started breaking down crying. And I was like, oh man, those are some real tears. The mom is not faking here. Chris really has an issue with jealousy if the mom's sitting here crying about it. So it seems like this season they're really going to play on the storyline with his jealousy and her being a gold digger. Like, she's even, like, leaning into that, and you trolling already online, like, holding up her picture as a mugshot saying that she's a gold digger. I don't know. I'm conflicted because, like, if I was in his situation, if I'm paying all your bills, if I'm paying for the phone bill, the roof under your head, the food you're eating, everything, then I would expect you to answer when I call. But at the same time, Chris is just calling too much. And at the same time, like, what are you guys talking about that much? Like, that's what I hate. Like, when it comes to like me talking on the phone, I hate talking on the phone, except like when I call my mom, and I call her once a week, and even then I struggle to come up with like 30 minutes worth of stuff to talk about that I've done the past week. So how are you going to come up with like that much to talk about someone within an hour? I did see someone though make a good recommendation on Reddit, and they said that they had a friend that used to have parties, and they dated someone kind of like Chris in prison. So to make him feel comfortable and like he was part of the party, and let's be honest, Chris probably paid for everything that was there for the party, the decorations, the food, the alcohol. Like they should have just like kind of did like what Brandon and Mary from 9 Day Fiance do, and just put him on a tripod and just sat him in the corner. And then if people like family and friends and Jade wanted to talk to him, they could just keep him there hanging out. Then he wouldn't have to be so worried and jealous. But at the same time, he's got to chill out on that jealousy and calling every single hour, because that is way too much. But I think I got the answer. They need to get like those little robot tripod things, with the wheels that's pictured here. Like one of those, and have Chris, hooked up to it, so he can just follow her around at the parties or wherever she goes, and it could be like he's there and he can see whatever is going on. But let me know what you guys think about this couple so far in the comments below. Make sure you check out my Patreon. For the price of a Frappuccino, you can get 3 to 4 exclusive videos a week. And you can also check out my website, AccordingtoAmber.com, where I'll post daily blog posts about, trending reality TV and entertainment news. And let me know what you guys think. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.